I always believed love was about timing. Turns out, timing is just another way fate laughs at you before everything falls apart. The night her ex returned, I knew something had shifted, even before she said his name. We were sitting on the balcony of her apartment, the city glowing beneath us like a million quiet secrets. The wind carried the smell of rain and street food, and she sat cross-legged beside me, wrapped in my hoodie like she belonged there, like she always had. Her name was Isla. For 2 years, Isla had been my calm in a world that never stopped moving. She wasn't loud love. She was steady, the kind that brewed slowly, settled deep, and made you think this right here, was permanent. I was wrong. She kept checking her phone that night. Not the casual glance, the nervous kind. The kind where your thumb hovers over the screen like it might burn you. You're quiet, I said. She smiled, but it didn't reach her eyes. Just tired. A lie. A soft one. The dangerous kind. Minutes passed in silence before she finally spoke. Ethan, there's something I need to tell you. My chest tightened. You don't spend years with someone without learning the sound of truth approaching. My ex is back. 3 words. That's all it took. I didn't react right away. I just nodded, like she told me it might rain tomorrow. Oh, I said, okay. But inside, something cracked. She rushed to explain, words tumbling over each other. He reached out yesterday. He's in the city for work. He said he just wanted to talk. For closure. Closure. The most overused excuse in the history of heartbreak. What did you say? I asked. She hesitated. That pause told me everything. I said we could meet, she whispered. Just once. I stood up and walked to the edge of the balcony, staring at the traffic far below. Headlights looked like veins of light, pulsing, restless, alive. So you're asking for permission? I said. No, she said quickly. I'm telling you, I don't want secrets between us. I turned to face her. She looked small suddenly, uncertain, and that scared me more than anger ever could. Do you still have feelings for him? I asked. She didn't answer right away. Another pause. Longer this time. I don't know, she said. He was my first love. We were together for years. It's complicated. Complicated. Another dangerous word. I nodded slowly. Then here's what's not complicated. I said, if he's back and you're unsure about us, I won't stand in the middle. Her eyes widened. What does that mean? It means, I said carefully, I won't compete with your past. She stood up, panic flashing across her face. Ethan, I'm not choosing him. I'm just confused. I know, I said softly, and that's exactly why I need to step back. The words tasted bitter, but once they were out, I couldn't pull them back in. You're leaving? She asked. I'm choosing myself, I replied. That was the moment her eyes filled with tears. You're giving up on us too easily, she said. No, I said. I'm walking away before resentment turns love into something ugly. We didn't fight. There were no slammed doors or raised voices. Just silence. The next morning, I packed a bag while she slept, or pretended to. I paused at the doorway, watching her chest rise and fall, memorizing her the way you memorize a place you know you'll never return to. I left without waking her. For weeks after that, I disappeared. No texts, no calls, no checking her social media. I told myself it was strength. In reality, it was survival. I buried myself in work, in late nights and early mornings. I moved apartments, changed routines. I rebuilt my life around the shape of her absence. And slowly, it started to work. Until one evening, months later, my phone buzzed with a message I never expected. Isla, why did you really leave? I stared at the screen for a long time. Because the truth was simple and terrifying. I left because I loved her enough to walk away. What I didn't know then was that my absence would become the very thing that made her chase me, and that the man I was becoming without her was the man she would eventually choose, over her past, over her fear, over everything. But that was a story yet to begin.
The apartment felt larger without him. Isla noticed it first in the mornings. The way the sunlight hit the empty chair across the table, the untouched coffee mug on his side of the sink, the quiet, too quiet, settling into corners she had never known were hollow. Ethan had left without drama. No shouting, no slammed doors, no accusations. That was what hurt the most. She had expected anger. She had prepared herself for guilt. She hadn't prepared for absence. For the first week, Isla told herself it was temporary. He just needs space, she said aloud one evening, standing in front of the mirror, adjusting the cream blazer she wore like armor. Men always do. But when she checked her phone for the 10th time that night, there was still nothing. No missed call, no message, no sign that he was struggling the way she was. And that unsettled her. The ex, Marcus, re-entered her life loudly. Flowers arrived at her office. Expensive ones. White roses. Orchids flown in from somewhere warm and far away. A note followed. Dinner tonight. Like old times. Her assistant smiled when she saw it. Look serious. He must regret losing you. Isla forced a polite smile. Regret. She wondered if Ethan felt any. Dinner with Marcus was easy. Too easy. He talked about his investments, his travels, his plans. He spoke with certainty about the future, about where she fit into it, as if her answer was already decided. You always liked stability, Marcus said confidently. That's why we made sense. Isla swirled the wine in her glass, watching the light fracture through the crystal. Stability. Ethan had never promised her certainty. He had promised presence. She realized, halfway through Marcus's sentence, that she hadn't heard a word he'd said in the last minute. Her mind kept drifting back to a small moment she hadn't valued enough. Ethan sitting on the balcony, barefoot, handing her coffee without asking how she liked it because he already knew. That night, she lay in bed staring at the ceiling. Marcus had kissed her goodnight. Familiar, controlled, predictable, and yet her chest felt tight. She reached for her phone. Still nothing. The silence was no longer peaceful. It was accusing. Ethan, meanwhile, was rebuilding his life with ruthless discipline. New apartment. Smaller. Cleaner. No shared memories clinging to the walls. Work filled his days. The gym filled his nights. He told himself he was fine. And for the most part, he was. Until small things betrayed him. He still ordered food for two before correcting himself. He still glanced at his phone when something funny happened, instinctively wanting to tell her. But he never reached out. Not once. Because he remembered the hesitation in her eyes. And he refused to live in someone else's uncertainty. Isla cracked on the 9th day. It wasn't dramatic. It was a random Tuesday evening when her car refused to start in the underground parking lot. The lights flickered. The air smelled faintly of oil. She stood there, heels aching, frustration rising, and for the first time, her instinct wasn't to call Marcus. It was Ethan. Her thumb hovered over his name. She imagined his calm voice. The way he would have said, "Stay there. I'm coming." No questions. No judgment. Her throat tightened. She didn't call. Instead, she texted, "Isla, did I make a mistake?" The message sat there, unread. Hours passed. Nothing. The rejection, silent and unintentional, cut deeper than words. She realized something then that unsettled her more than loneliness. Ethan wasn't waiting. He wasn't suffering loudly. He wasn't begging quietly. He had moved forward. And she was the one standing still. The next morning, she saw him. By accident. Or fate, she would never know. She was leaving a cafe near her office when she noticed him across the street. Sunglasses on, coffee in hand, calm, focused, different, lighter. There was no hesitation in his step, no searching in his eyes. For the first time since he left, panic rose in her chest. Not fear of losing him, fear that she already had. She stepped forward without thinking. Ethan. He stopped, turned, removed his sunglasses slowly. Their eyes met. And in that moment, Isla understood the cruel truth she had been avoiding. She hadn't lost him when her ex returned. She lost him when she hesitated. He didn't smile. He didn't frown. He simply looked, at peace. Yes, he said politely. Politely. That single word shattered something inside her.